Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes. Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. I'm Matt Sasuti. This is Michael, the penguin-loving Clankoff. And we have the Darkwing Brian Daly behind the board today. And the Hockey Happy Hour is brought to you by Skinzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.skinzanosports.com. Well, it is official. The Washington Capitals have been given their Stanley Cup. Their first one, possibly their only one in franchise history.
Hopefully. Hopefully they have to wait another 40 years for another one.
For another one, yes. And now we look towards the free agency and the draft and then trades.
Yay.
And that is what our main topic of discussion is today, primarily surrounding good old Wayne Simmonds. We'll address that in just a quick second. But the Twitter poll question is, will the Flyers trade Wayne Simmonds in the offseason? Yes or no? One of the two. In my honest opinion, I could see him doing it, but I don't think they will, because Hise's the kind of guy who doesn't like to change his team around.
Yeah.
He very much would rather like to keep the team the way it is, fuck everybody else, it's staying the way it is.
Yeah, I just feel like he's just a big part of the team now. That's just me personally. I mean, watching him, obviously I hate going up against him, but if there's one of the guys on the Flyers that I want, it's definitely him. I don't know. To me, he's great on the power play. You have a big body down low. You know, he does everything he needs to do. It's just, you know, obviously the season wasn't the best, but it's not like his numbers were still bad. So.
Well, that is true. That is very, very true. I mean, here's the one negative thing I have about Wayne Simmonds is this. Penalties. He takes them at the worst possible time. And when he does it in the playoffs, and I hate to have to keep being that guy that has to bring it the fuck up, but I'm going to keep bringing it the fuck up because it's a big goddamn deal. We're right smack dab in the middle of a game. It is a very serious game because the Flyers could possibly win this game against Pittsburgh and tie the series back up. We just got a power play. What the fuck did Wayne Simmonds
10 seconds
do?
later, yep.
Goes right in the box.
Yep. Sounds like something familiar that we get used to as Penguin fans with Ole Mata or Malkin. You know, the two M's on the team, they like to take penalties, bad times. But, I mean, listen, if they come back and make it up, then that's the difference. And obviously in that game he didn't. But, you know.
It's just one of those things of, like, for God's sakes, at some point you have to stop taking bad penalties. This needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
If this doesn't get addressed by the offseason, we're going to have problems because Wayne cannot be constantly getting thrown in the box at the worst possible time. Now, obviously, there are some people who would never trade him, and then there are people who say, it wouldn't be a loss, really. But at the end of the day, though, I want to know, who would the Flyers trade him to? That's the real question that we have to ask. So let's throw us out there. The Flyers are going to use him. They're going to say, all right, we are going to trade Wayne Simmonds. So now I'm asking, who do we think is a viable candidate to take Wayne Simmonds off the Flyers' hands?
Well, from the report that I'm reading right now, and this is, I guess, off of Flyers fan pages, possible trade to Toronto.
Any idea of who we would be getting back?
Supposedly, it would be Wayne Simmonds for forward, Jeremy Bracco, and the rights to pending unrestricted free agent Tyler Bozak in a 25th overall selection. I feel like that's so much.
That is a lot.
Because I feel like Tyler Bozak is good. He's obviously a name that's not brought up every year, but he's a solid centerman. I don't think you're going to get 3 guys for Wayne Simmonds. I mean, Simmer's good, but I don't know if he's worth that much.
No, I don't think he is either. But you know what? Bozak's a solid guy to get.
Solid. He's solid. Like I said, great centerman. He's fast, good shot. You know, overall, he's just a great player. Like I said, a guy that his name isn't brought up a lot, but he's a solid player and he's good to have on your team.
Agreed.
Well, the major thing also that needs to be remembered too is the fact that Wayne Simmonds' contract does come up in 2018-2019, so this is his last year as a Flyer unless they decide to re-sign him. However, though, I think if we're looking at this from a side of rebuilding the team and getting the team younger, I think oddly enough, Wayne Simmonds could wind up on the trade block, especially if the Flyers aren't exactly where they want to be come trade deadline time. But if they want to jump the gun and do it in the offseason, oddly enough, it's not a bad idea for him to go back to Los Angeles, strangely enough. And the LA is a nice trading partner with the Flyers. The Flyers have absolutely had a glorious relationship with them, with the exception of
Jeff Carter.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, though, Wayne Simmonds, to be honest with you, we say, we'll give you back Wayne Simmonds. We don't really need that much in return for him because, honestly, we don't really need anything definitive for him back. And the only reason why is because we have enough talent on forwards where we already know where the future lies with the Flyers forwards. Nolan Patrick, Travis Konechny, these are guys who are already on the team.
Yep.
And it's only going to continue because we saw a lot of prowess from the Lehigh Valley Phantoms this past offseason. They got all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. So it shows that, okay, we got some forward talent sitting down there as well as defensive talent. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that we say we don't really need much for him in return, but we'll give him back to you because we've already got young guys in mind we want to bring up to the position.
We got to look at Tyler Bozak's contract before we even consider if this is going to be a good trade or not.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking at right now. I got to go pull that up. I was looking towards what other teams could be suitable candidates.
Here's my thing. So there's a story going around about Matt Hoffman, or not Matt Hoffman, sorry. Mike.
And his
sorry,
wife,
I was
right?
thinking about the BMX rider. And his wife
Yep.
apparently getting verbal harassment from, or giving verbal harassment to Erik Karlsson. And now Erik Karlsson wants out of Ottawa.
Which we saw coming.
Which, yeah, I mean, there was rumors about it for probably about, a year and a half now? Well, if
Give or
not,
take, yeah.
So the one thing the Flyers need to do, in my opinion, is shore up their defense. Package some stuff together. Try and see if you can get Erik Karlsson down here.
I feel like you're going to need to give up a lot.
You might have to give up
That's a couple
bit
first-round
for
picks
him.
for the next couple years.
Yeah, but it's a guy who I believe is in the last year or two of his contract.
True, so it might be a rent. No, I thought he just signed an extension.
No, they said if what I read was right, Ottawa was a couple weeks away from getting ready to give him an extension. But now, despite the extension, doesn't matter what money he gets, he's not signing it. He wants out, which I can't blame him.
Well,
so I say maybe
Me and Erik Karlsson have the same birthday? That's so exciting. Wow, I didn't know that.
I have the same birthday as Juan Pierre.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
there-
Mila Kunis.
another person that would be in another team that would be interesting for this is another one that I've been seeing is Boston. Boston, they
Yeah,
do
you're
need
right. He
score.
does have two years left, sorry.
But here's the reason
Well,
why. Boston really needs scoring, and they kind of struggled in that department. And I think that did come back to haunt them in the playoffs a little bit. But overall, though, oddly enough, they even did the math. Wayne Simmonds would be the 4th best scorer on the team if he had the stats he had this year. So it's not a bad idea.
On Philly?
No, on Boston.
Oh.
So you could easily say, well, Wayne can still score.
Well, that's what I'm
You know,
saying.
you
He
get-
had, 48 points this year or 54?
Yeah, I
somewhere
mean,
in that
apparently
range,
it was not his best, but at the same time, too, it's like, he could fit in that system. He could be a big guy in the second line. They didn't work out with Rick Nash.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right.
Well, Rick Nash doesn't work out anywhere he goes.
Pretty much. If Rick Nash
There are a lot of rumors of Rick Nash coming to Philly.
Really?
I don't think we can afford Rick Nash, honestly. And where the fuck would we put him?
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Second line right wing, especially if you get rid of Simmer.
I mean, yeah, you can do that. But the thing is like, I don't know if Rick Nash would come to Philly. Because I don't think we can offer him the payday that he wants.
Well, he'd be the complete opposite direction of where the Flyers are trying to move.
Yeah, that too.
Younger. He's not younger.
He's
No,
not
he
younger.
is not young.
He did play better in Boston, but he's not younger by
Well,
any
look at the
stretch.
core that they had in Boston too. That's the difference is they actually have, solid pieces. Whereas in New York, where they dismantled the team. So.
Pretty much, yeah. They pretty much just completely said quid pro quo. Now that's another. I don't think that's a team that would take him. Is the Rangers? That's a team that I would say probably not. They may if they feel like it, but it's just like they're really just going to rebuild. They're not interested in nobody. They're just like fuck it.
Yeah, we
go to
want
the draft.
Young.
That's pretty
young,
much
young,
it.
young.
Young guys are all we want. I don't think they would trade him to the Devils, and I don't think the Devils want him. So I don't think the Devils would
Well,
bite.
I feel like the Devils would be the team out. Maybe I don't think he would go to the Islanders. I think he's going to go to a contender if they do get rid of him, though.
That's the real question of, do you think that maybe the Flyers would probably set, if I'm thinking, they would probably more favorable to a West team
Hey,
instead
maybe
of
he
an
could go to
East team?
Nashville and play with Lavi again.
It's a possibility. Question is who would we get from Nashville in that trade? Again, though, anybody
They're another young team, so you may be able to get a little something for them.
I mean, that's what I'm hoping for, if you can bank on something like that. I mean, here's the thing, though. Any team that you look at, it's just like, well, the Flyers want to stay young. They don't want to get an old guy.
Yeah.
So you want to give up Simmonds. The thing is that, like, you could trade him for a guy. You could even trade him for maybe a rental piece for a period of time, a decent rental piece that's going to actually give you
Contribute,
something.
yeah.
That's going to
Actually
contribute
make a push
to the
for
team.
a Stanley Cup.
Yes, that can actually lead the team on a second line, So there's that.
My favorite rental, by the way, was Jerome McGinley. Getting swept in the conference finals against Boston. It worked perfectly. Worked out perfectly. Just saying.
Yeah, and then he went to Boston, and they didn't do shit with him
I
either.
still can't believe he didn't play last year.
I know.
Nobody
Hard to
wanted him.
believe.
I can't believe that. He's a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
when
I
you're
mean,
40 and the most teams are getting young. That's why.
yeah, most teams don't want you past like a certain age
Yeah.
mark. Once you get to
Yeah.
that age range, you're like, nah.
But he's a former captain, and he could teach a lot of these young guys a lot.
Absolutely.
That's true. I mean, the thing is that like Jerome McGinley is another perfect example of somebody. If he's going to go anywhere, he's going to take a pay cut. Is he willing to take a pay cut? You're only going to be there for maybe a year tops, possibly 2 if you're lucky, if you perform very well. That's
Yeah.
kind of the situation that Jerome McGinley finds himself in. Not deserving, but it is the situation he's in. So it's going to be interesting. There's also rumors that possibly Montreal's interested in Wayne Simmonds. If that's the case, I don't know who we would trade from, who we would get from Montreal in that trade. I mean, I don't.
Pacioretty.
Yeah,
I mean, Pacioretty's still on the block. Alex Galchenyuk is still on the block.
Yeah.
And Alex Galchenyuk is still relatively young.
What is he, 25, 26?
He's about 25, 26, yeah.
They're all solid pieces. He's quick, too, man. Like I said, it's just turned more into a speed game. Obviously Simmer doesn't really have that much speed. He's more the power to grinder kind of guy. So,
I mean, they've been saying about that the Flyers would go grab defenseman Nathan Beaulieu, or Sven Andrighetto. And I don't know. I mean, it's hard to really say where the Flyers would put him. I mean, the problem is that you want young guys, which Beaulieu is, but the thing is that like defensive prospects wise, we already have a lot of them.
So many, yeah.
However, the issue is that Sam Morin is hurt and he's going to be out until February, so there's a huge gap that's going to be there that's got to be filled by somebody. That gives a great chance for Sanheim to step up because he was on the Flyers, didn't have the best of times on the Flyers, but hey, it's a rookie year. The shit's going to happen. He can get
You learn.
himself.
You
into-
have to
yeah,
learn, you
Yeah,
know?
you gotta take
It's
some
different
lumps.
once you get to the cello, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
once you get there, we'll see what happens to that. Because I mean, think about it. Sanheim he wasn't picked at the
Yeah.
spot Provy was picked. Provy was picked well ahead of him, so that's why Provy being on the team makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Absolutely.
Also thinking about going out, you got Philip Meyer, who's
Yeah,
pretty much
Philip
NHL
Meyer.
ready. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here. I've been reading things where people are saying, oh, maybe the Flyers should re-pursue Brandon Manning now that Moran's hurt.
I don't know.
I mean, I like Brandon Manning. I thought he was a solid number 3 pairing defenseman, but
no. There's no.
you got a better player in Philip Meyer.
Yeah, like nothing.
More
against
offensive
Manning.
upside.
Yeah, I have nothing against Manning. Manning was a chippy player. He was good for the team. He played well for his role, but other than that, it's like you could get 1,000 Brandon Mannings in the free
He's
agency.
just another guy.
Yeah, honestly, and that's nothing against Manning. It's great work if you can get it. If you could be a utility defensive player and used on multiple teams, perfectly fine. That's great. Pay me every night. I will be on for 30 different teams.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a jersey collection of the entire NHL. I don't care. Great work. Like, I have no problem with that.
Just real quick, couple comments rolling in about Simmer.
Sure.
Greg Malakovich chiming in with, what's up, fellas? I don't want to see Simmer go, but I do think he's one of the more attractive trade pieces available on this team, so it wouldn't shock me at all. He also wants to know, is Ovi still drunk?
Probably.
Probably.
He has
yeah.
been drunk since last Thursday.
It's such a shame. I hate seeing how much fun he's having, but you got to give it to him.
You got to, dude, the genuine happiness beaming from him,
It's the happiness of a guy who, honest to God, never thought he was going to win a Stanley Cup. Like, I bet you he never thought it was
it's
going
not
to
even
happen.
just Ovi, though. It's even TJ. You even say it about TJ Yoshi. Like,
Yeah.
it's refreshing. Like, they genuinely are thrilled the fact that they have a cup. It's not just kind of like, we
Yeah.
have it. Woo.
No, that's basically how it felt watching the last.
He
two
is
Stanley
taking it
Cups. It's just like,
everywhere
all
with
right.
him the first 3 or 4 days.
Oh yeah, everywhere.
Tom Arnone saying, I would say yes to trading Simmer. Hi, Aunt Barb. Don't forget, we're here too.
Hi, Aunt Barb.
Hey, Barb. No, but you know
And
what?
then, real
keep
quick, because this is a good point. Adrian Barrett says, I only think Hexall will do it if the trade is a great deal, but I don't see it happening because Simmonds was hurt last season.
He was.
He's supposed to be ready for training camp, but with injuries and surgery, you never know how the player is going to come back next year.
Yeah, I heard torn ligaments, broken ankle, missing teeth.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that was before.
Yeah, that's probably before. But, the thing about that whole idea of Simmonds going somewhere, it's just like, again, and she's right, Hexy, it's got to be a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's the kind of guy who's like, if this is a deal that's going to leave me with egg on my face, you ain't getting shit from me. Simple as that. That's the kind of man Hexy is. I have no problem with that, by the way, because it makes perfect sense. Why the hell would you trade off a piece when you got nothing in return for it? And you can't just trade for picks because it's not like he's a third-line player and he's not a fourth-line player, and you're lucky if you get anything like that, like when we traded Zach Ronaldo. Lucky as shit we even got a pick for him. I'm surprised they didn't send us a fucking turd-covered bag with a giant middle finger on it. Like, seriously.
He's trash.
But
Interesting.
anyway, with that being said, though, we also have comments rolling in on the YouTube. David Roska. What's up, David? The Padawan of one Brian Daly as a Ducks fan.
My man Dave.
You didn't let him free, right? You still have him as your Padawan?
Sure.
I don't like that. That just oozes. Oh, yeah, I let him go. He's not worthy of my teaching.
We're still on the fence here.
Yeah. Anyway, Roska saying, I want our Ducks to get Neal and Perry will not be traded.
James Neal?
You see, James Neal's realistic. I believe he's a UFA at the end of this year.
He is.
So it's realistic that he does come to Anaheim. It's just a matter of the interest in him. I see James Neal re-signing in Vegas. Corey Perry, see, that's tough because he's been on the trade block for about 2 years now. Nobody's picked him up. It's going to be tough to move him with his salary. So I agree with you, David, there. Corey Perry will not be traded.
I like Neal. I really do. Neal was so good when he came to Pittsburgh. I mean, he was a
Neal was
40
good in Nashville
40-goal
too.
scorer. You know,
Yeah.
I was so surprised when they didn't keep him. I really was. But I mean, that was such a big piece for Vegas to get in Neal, and it's just he's actually one of the jerseys that the one Winter Classic jersey that I have is changed. Believe it or not.
Back when he was a piece of shit. But anyway.
What
Actually,
is-
he's still a piece
Yeah, I
of
was gonna
shit.
say,
Not
what
much
is he
changes.
now?
Yeah, he's still a piece of shit. He's just a piece of shit I don't have to see
Yeah.
only twice a year, so I'm happy with that. He's gone from being he's just a turd now.
Yeah, now
He's just a turd.
Just a lingering
He's been
turd.
promoted. Yeah,
just
he's like that little nugget. But anyway,
Just wanna go
Oh.
away.
all right. Next, Eddie Van Haskell chiming in. What's up, Eddie? Saying Bozak is great at offense. He is. He is actually really good at faceoffs, and we do love our guys who can be good at faceoffs. Which, by the way, let me bring up.
And he
Tyler
can
Bozak.
score a little bit too. And
He
I
can.
think he's in the last year of his contract in this upcoming season. So it could be a decent rental move.
For now, until we're truly ready to bring somebody in, because you could bring up a guy like, say, Philip Meyer. They don't have to be in the second line. They can be on the third and perfectly be fine.
And I think Tyler Bozak is sitting second or third line in Toronto. You do the same thing with him here. He's a great passer. He can set guys up. He can give guys like, Nolan Patrick his breakout.
Yeah, I mean,
If you put Patrick on the wing, I know he's a center, but you could probably even be
You
able to
always
play
move guys
Bozak on the
around,
wing
yeah.
too. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that it's a possibility on that one. If that's a trade, I really don't have a problem with it. Yeah, I mean, Simmer was on the team for a while, but you know what? You're trading really a Wayne for a Wayne when you think about it. Only difference is that I don't think. Let me take a look at Bozak's stats here. I want to see his penalty minutes because if he's not a penalty box, what's the good word?
Fiend.
Yeah, then it wouldn't be too bad of an option to explore. So that way he wouldn't be a habitual offender of getting costly penalties. So it's really more of a benefit than a loss.
I mean, I don't think he's a big penalty minutes guy. He doesn't really attract them. Got to see.
Let's see here. He had 28 in 81 games last year.
Oh,
So
then
he stays
perfect.
out,
That's
yeah.
that's perfect. That's all I needed to
43
know
points.
there.
He had 11 goals, 32 assists. He was +6 on the ice.
That
So,
makes
That's the
perfect
guy you
sense.
want out on special teams too.
His career high in penalty minutes is 44 when fucking Toronto was god awful and he was a -34 on the ice.
Oh Christ! Back before they had Austin Matthews.
2014-15 season. So
Yeah, I mean, he stays out of the penalty box. He's a fairly disciplined player by that, and he could definitely help the penalty kill, which was really what was hurting the Flyers a lot last year.
God, yes, that
Yeah.
penalty kill. Was
So I mean, he
fucking
was averaging almost 16 minutes a game on the ice too. So he's on there a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
you know.
that's something the Flyers need is a guy that's going to be able to play those types of minutes.
Face-off percentage is 53.6% this season. so-
perfect. That's the kind of face-off
which
percentage
actually
you
is
like.
his career average exactly.
Which is great. You do want face-off. That is good on that
So-
one. Michael Cambria chimed in. Go Rangers.
Boo.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, enjoy the rebuild, bud. Enjoy the rebuild.
I still don't understand it. 6 points away from a playoff spot.
yeah.
Throw it all away.
Yeah, it's like fuck it. That's it. We're done. We're not
All
doing
right,
anything.
start
for the-
breaking it down. We're
Yeah.
gonna take the seats out of there.
It's like I mean the rest.
Roll up the ice.
What
The
are you
re-
guys doing?
I'm sure the
Hendrick's like, what are you doing, man?
I'm standing right here. What are you rolling up the ice for?
So actually, that's another question. Do you think that he hits free agency?
I don't think he will. I don't think he wants to.
But that's the thing, though. It's like
And
really.
I feel like I don't know. I mean I don't like the Rangers. That's a guy I kind of feel bad for, like semi. Like
I don't. He's a great goaltender. Don't get me
Great,
wrong,
yeah.
but I don't feel bad. Listen. I like Hendrik Lundqvist. I like what he does for the game, but I don't feel bad that he hasn't won a Stanley Cup. That's his fault. He wanted to stay with the Rangers as long as he has. That's on him.
yeah.
That's true.
If you choose, listen, if you're an elite player, and you choose to stay on a shitty team, I'm not going to feel bad for you if you never win a cup in your career.
Yeah.
That's on you. You want to win a cup? Go to a winning team.
that is true.
I mean, I love the loyalty.
Oh, there's no doubt.
That's why I have so much respect for Shane Doan, is because he put up with so much shit in his career. With the Coyotes. Didn't sign anywhere this year. I don't know if he formally retired or not.
I don't know. I just remember when we were talking about that last year with Shane Doan.
But
about
it's
him moving,
loyalty.
He never did, yeah.
There's no they say there's no loyalty in sports anymore. You definitely don't see it in the NFL. MLB,
Oh, no.
it depends on the player. NBA, you don't really see loyalty.
Hell no.
NHL is the only one where you see these elite type players being like, all right, so how many more years do you think we're gonna rebuild? 3 or 4?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll stay.
I'll stay.
Okay.
I'm here. But
Yeah.
you're 37 years old. That's fine.
That's okay.
If I win at 41, that's great. That's what I love about this sport. That's what I love about this game.
I mean, that does say a lot. I mean, considering the fact that the Coyotes have never put together anything decent in the last God knows how long.
But 10 years?
About that.
Yeah. But the
'Cause-
one thing
yeah.
about the NHL, though, that drives me nuts, like, yeah, there's the loyalty, but, like, the one guy you think will be there forever gets traded.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty
dude,
much.
people get traded away like it's nothing. Remember when Nathan Horton was a big thing? Like, when he was in Boston, he was playing good.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
and then he
unfortunately,
got
like with the
traded to,
CBA,
what,
like
Florida?
certain.
I haven't even. Did he even play this year? Like, I haven't. heard
Nathan
his-
Horton hadn't played. They thought he was. They think he's done.
Yeah.
When they realized what he had done to his back,
Oh,
they knew then
yeah.
and there that he probably wasn't going to play again.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just like.
Last I heard, he was traded to Columbus or Toronto.
Was it Toronto? Yeah.
I think it was Toronto.
Because he went to Florida. Did he go to Florida? No.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think he went
Mark
to Florida.
Savard went to Florida.
Yes,
His
Mark
contract went to
Savard
Florida.
Went to Florida.
His
Yes,
contract,
he
yeah.
did. Good God.
It was the same thing with
Yeah.
Pronger.
Okay.
Because he was on the long-term injury reserve.
And
they
then the-
traded his contract to
Yeah.
Arizona.
Flyers traded the contract to Arizona, which I still think is one of the most masterful things Hexie has ever done.
He actually says right now he's on the Maple Leafs.
Who?
Horton.
Horton, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably got, 2 or 3 years left on that contract?
Well, the
Maybe.
same thing happened with Boston. They traded away Tyler Seguin. They traded him to Dallas, and for nothing. And on top of that, too, they also traded Rich Peverly away. Rich Peverly, he wound up.
Oh.
He wound up in Dallas,
He
too.
was in
Yeah.
Florida before Boston.
Aha,
Oh,
that's what it
my
was.
bad.
But yeah, I mean, honestly,
Wait.
it is weird. Like I never thought Boston would trade Tyler Seguin away, but they did.
Yeah.
They got him number 2 overall. The only person ahead of him was Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall's now on the Devils. He's not even on the Oilers. And people thought he was going to stay on the Oilers forever.
You would have thought. I mean, definitely.
I want to jump to a couple of these comments real quick before
Sure.
we jump into that, because I got something I want to say about Taylor Hall. Dean Jones chiming in. Love Hextall, but he needs to make some trades now. The Flyers are in contention, but in all honesty, the Flyboys are nowhere close to where these top teams were, which I agree, but they're getting there.
It's a process. It's the toughest thing of it is because the Flyers handicapped themselves so bad for so long because Paul Holmgren's philosophy was win now. Wasn't, hey, let's build this thing up from the inside. Hexie's got to change that. That culture does not change overnight. And it's been.
Also, like, the really bad contracts. He's not like Andrew McDonald.
Which is,
Andrew McDonald should have been gone
That
2
was
years
the best
ago.
one.
that's the worst one. That is the single worst one.
Actually,
That's
that
my
might be
favorite one, being
listen,
an
that
opposing
might
fan.
be the best, worst contract that they've
Ever done? Yes.
put
absolutely.
out there in the Holmgren era.
And the sad part of it is, too, we used our buyouts because we had to buy out Brizgalov and his long fucking contract. And then on top of it, too, we bought out Danny B. And I'm like, shit.
Poor
Look,
Briere.
looking back on it, we should have just fucking kept Briere until he retired and fucking bought out Andrew McDonald. We wouldn't have had these problems right now because Danny B would have retired as a Flyer. I'm like, okay, well, that's the end of Danny B's career.
Yeah.
You know? Like, all right, whatever. Oh, well.
I would have liked to see Danny B retire, not just be like, all right, you're done. Shove
Yeah.
him off a cliff.
I mean, it did
Bye.
suck.
Let him say the words himself.
It
you
does
know?
suck, too, because Danny B, you know, I mean, that he was such a great playoff player. He's the kind of guy that you got good production out of him, decent production sometimes out of him during the season, but, man, when those playoffs kicked on, whew, there was no
That was
better
his time.
playoff.
That was his time to shine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was no better playoff in the playoffs than Danny Briere. He was Mr. Playoff.
Jumping back to Taylor Hall, real quick, you know, him being traded was the best thing that happened for Edmonton and the Devils. He desperately needed a change of scenery. He was
No
not
doubt.
performing
Yeah.
to his level of being a top 3 draft pick in Edmonton. He had a couple good years, but he wasn't in it. He didn't want. I don't think he wanted to play in Edmonton. Edmonton needed to make a move and shore up their defense.
Well, exactly.
And Devils had the best option in
Adam Larson.
And so they sent him to Edmonton, and
you got to
Taylor
think
Hall
too,
came here.
Now Yankopov isn't on that team anymore. So
Yeah.
that's
No,
two,
he's in Colorado.
Yeah, that's two of the last 4 first
He had a
round picks that
decent
they
year
had.
this year.
Yeah.
He had.
Listen, that's all.
That was all him. That was all his mental game. Like he got to the NHL and he just didn't have it.
Yeah.
But he took him a couple years of maturity.
Yep.
And
that was
now
the
he's
thing.
in.
He was not mature at all.
No, he wasn't
Yeah.
ready.
He was not at all.
So now he spends the season in Colorado and kind of revamps his
Yeah.
career a little bit.
Yeah, but that's the biggest issue that you run into, though, with young players, the maturity factor. Because Edmonton thought, oh, we'll just suck every year, get the best overall picks. And every year the team would do the same fucking thing. They would be dead last in the West. And
I know
There's a
team
term for that.
I know a team that did that.
yeah, it's we call that tanking in the world of sports. And yes, a team did do that. A certain team that somebody in this room
But it
likes.
works. It worked.
It
Yeah,
really
because
does.
you
It really
have-
does work though when it's done right.
Yeah, because you happen to tank at the best time because you wound up getting fucking the one guy who probably would have been better than goddamn Gretzky. Like, seriously.
Well, here's the thing too. Like, it sucks because you can't be too sure what you're getting when you go into the draft.
Yeah.
You look at the last couple years. The draft classes after,
Matthews and Lane.
like, I think Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Patrick Laine, in the last few years were the only real big 3 game changers that were in the draft. You didn't have one last year.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, Nico Hersher has been pretty good.
Yeah,
and
he
so
was
has
solid.
Nolan Patrick. But
Yeah.
but
they're not
honest-
game changers. They're not going to change
no.
a franchise.
No, but they're going to be solid players that Nolan Patrick's going to be so beneficial for the Flyers
Yeah.
moving down the line. And Nico's going to be definitely beneficial to New Jersey in their game moving down the line. He's not going to be Taylor Hall, but he's certainly going to be the guy you forget can score on that team because you're so busy focusing on Taylor Hall.
Right. Dean also goes on to say, yes, Danny was awesome in the playoffs. Where was Giroux? You can say that about a lot of players in the Flyers in the round 1 this year. Where was
Forecheck.
Voracek? Where was Simmonds?
Yeah.
Where was
Simmons.
Nolan Patrick? Where
The
like
defense and
it's-
goaltending.
But here's the thing. The young guys have an excuse. This is their first playoff series. For some. Others, not so much. But they had a
Yeah.
bad game and they recovered. The defense really showed that, okay, we have the ability. It's just not there yet to hold back a team. But for the veterans, yes, there's no excuse. Like, Giroux had a long goalless, scoreless drought that took him fucking forever to break. Sean Couturier was pretty much the main goal scorer for us. And Travis Konechny on top of that, too, scored a pretty goal here in time or two on that one.
yeah, wound up breaking 20 this year, TK.
Yeah, so, I mean,
So good for
Konechny had
him.
a really solid year. I mean, honestly, that's the problem I have is that the veterans have no excuse.
Yeah.
Like, Giroux needs to be a much, much more present on the playoff team. Voracek absolutely fucking has to show up for the playoffs. If Wayne Simmonds, he got to stay out of the fucking box. And, I mean, the veterans on the team are where my problems are. The young guys, you could say, all right,
they
they're-
did what they could.
yeah,
you
they're
know?
young. They're still learning this shit. But as for the veterans, like, what the fuck, guys? Lead
Yeah.
by example. We
I
need
mean,
this
goaltending,
shit.
Goaltending didn't really like. It was just
Well, the
it's not
goaltending's the
just
goaltending.
right. It's
you
not
know?
just Giroux that I'm pointing the finger at because Giroux had a phenomenal season,
He did, and then he had a terrible postseason.
but the entire team had a terrible postseason
They
too.
did,
It wasn't just
yeah.
him. So, I mean, I get it. He's the captain. He's the guy that you're going to point the finger at first. But you also got to point the finger at everybody else on that team because there weren't very many players that showed up for that series.
No, that series was terrible. The Flyers just the first game and the 2 games in Philly were fucking abysmal, and then it wasn't until Game 5 that they decided, oh, we actually have a set of balls and we're going to fight them, and they fought them, and they fought them in Game 6. Damn near got a Game 7 out of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was just,
Which was scary.
yeah. At the end of the day, though, it was just like the Flyers, that team did not show up until it was too little too fucking late. That was a terrible way to start your playoff career. Again, though, I still say young team for some of the guys. They needed to get this first playoff series under their belt. They drew the worst fucking opponent they could draw in Pittsburgh. Really was the worst fucking opponent we could draw. I would have preferred Washington, even though Washington went on to win the Cup. We probably would have done better against Washington.
Yeah, but they started out so shaky too. I mean,
They
for
did.
them to
Yeah.
be down 2-0, you know, and then have to play on the road the next 2 games too, and just end up sweeping out that way. Good old gentleman sweep.
Yeah.
You know, it was a phenomenal run by them, and they just went lights out.
Well, it was Columbus. They woke up.
Yeah.
They realized, oh, shit, we just lost our first 2 games at home. You just lost home ice.
Yeah.
So now you need to get it back. You know, that's what woke them up. And would they have been able to do that against us? Honestly, I don't think so, because we played very well against Washington all year. So I think we probably would have been a little bit better off. Had Holtby done what he did, maybe. But, I mean, if it came down to it, Holtby could have won that series for them, which he did. He did win that series against Columbus for them. Because if Holtby hadn't been on his game, oh, my God, Columbus would have beaten Washington.
Yeah. That team's going to – I'm telling you, that team is going to be dismantled. I believe so once – you know, free agency starts and everything. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of big names leaving that team.
Which team? I'm sorry, I was doing some producing stuff.
Washington.
That's fine.
Washington?
Yeah.
If not this year, next year.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you they will not be Stanley Cup
I've
champions
already heard
next
reports
year.
that Grubauer wants out and wants to become a starter. So
Yeah.
On what team?
Dude, well, here's the thing. I'm actually kind of happy you brought that up, because somebody in one of the Flyers fan pages that I seen
Said they wanted him.
They should they trade for him.
listen, it would be a Flyers move.
Fuck right off. No.
First of all, you got 4 options right now before even Carter Hart.
Yeah.
Go with
You listen, Brian Elliott. Yes, he's getting older.
Flyers fan base, Matty.
First of all, you got Elliott, who's a mediocre goalie who can hold a team down,
Yeah.
especially in a rebuild like the Flyers are doing.
for now.
Noivy is
When he's on his game, he's good though. He's like,
Oh, he's great.
But did you ever see
he's
the movie
always hurt.
Unbreakable? Did you
Yeah.
see the movie? He's Mr. Glass.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Absolutely.
much.
And
That's my problem with him.
If Anthony Stolarz is 100%, you have an option there. And then you still
don't
have
know.
Alex Lyon, who showed that he can play at the NHL
Yeah.
level.
See, here's what I think the pairing should be. I would say, all right, Elliott, we did sign him to a contract. Keep him and have Lyon as his backup. Neuwirth, gone. I don't care how good he plays. The man is fucking awful when it comes to injuries. He's made of glass bones and fucking paper skin. Get him off the fucking team. He's not going to last the fucking 82. I don't want him anywhere near us. On top of that, Mrazek, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. You know, he was what he was at the end of the day. I feel bad that he got shifted with having to be the starter out of fucking nowhere, because not only did Elliott go down, but fucking Neuwirth went down.
It was literally like 2 days after he signed with him. He was like, all right, go ahead,
the
Peter.
starter.
See what
Yeah.
you got. Let's
See
see
what you got,
all right?
Mrazek.
We'll have lines back you up.
Yeah, it's like, because, you know,
What?
it's like, oh, shit.
My
Like,
situation in Detroit was better.
yeah, it's like, fuck, I didn't have to
Was
play
it,
every
though?
night.
No.
Like,
Definitely not.
honestly, no. I mean,
But to sit here and say that, yeah, we need to trade for Philip Grubauer, it's going to be the same situation if he comes
it's
here.
stupid. It's
you
absolutely
don't
stupid.
you don't need a Philip Grubauer.
No, you don't.
really
First of all, you don't need to be giving up anything for, what, another backup?
Yeah.
Another. Yeah,
And what
exactly.
team is going to take him as a starter besides maybe a shit-sucking team that's last place? Maybe fucking
Arizona.
yeah. Well, no, because they'll have Smith. So I'm like, you're not even going to start on that
no,
fucking
Smith
team.
is in Calgary.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
that's right. I forgot they traded him. I forgot about
Buffalo.
that.
Trade him to Buffalo. He could be a starter in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Wasn't he on Buffalo once?
I don't know if he was.
Grubauer, I don't know. No,
But
I don't.
here's an interesting comment that I'm going to get to. And, I agree to that wholeheartedly, and we'll get to that in a second.
All right.
Dean Jones. We need to build around Patrick Couturier. I don't know why I can't speak today.
Coots.
So, Patrick, yes. Couturier, I want to see what he does this year. I want to see if he can repeat.
He had a very good year this year. I'd like to see it. Maybe it's the Hackstool system just works with him very well.
It's possible.
And
it just clicked.
And hopefully that's the case.
Yeah.
If that is, awesome. Then that means Hack needs to be our coach.
Right,
Because
like I
that's
said.
how we're going to get the best out of him.
Let's see if he can repeat. And then
Yeah.
if he has another 30-goal year, 25, 30-goal year, I agree with that statement. Build around Patrick.
And
Konechny
and obviously guys like Gostisbehere on the back end. These are the guys that you look towards.
Frank Vespi, my heart says no, but it's bound to happen. Depends on the situation during the 2018-19 season. Playoff push, no. No hope gets a spot, yes. No hope to get a spot. Jesus Christ. I need to go back to bed. But this is something I just wanted to comment on because I disagree with Dean here. He says, Bull, I'm assuming he's saying tell it like it was. The Flyers were the worst team in the playoffs. No, sir. There was one team worse than the Flyers. And I think both of you know where I'm going with this. The Anaheim Ducks were the worst team in the NHL playoffs this year.
Scored 4 goals.
In 4 games. Got clean swept.
And 3 of them was in 1, right?
3 was in 1. They got shut out twice.
Yeah.
Was it?
So there's that.
Yeah.
So they're the worst team. And, Dean, I agree with this comment so much, and I preach this all the time. Your defense is only your goalies is only as good as your defense is. He says it's not the goalies, it's the defense.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we have defensemen that shouldn't be on the team. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to move these said players because of the fucking contracts that they're under. I fucking hate the fact that it's like, God damn it, Paul Holmgren. It's his last jab. Just saying, oh, you think I can't be a fucking GM? Fine. I'll give you Andrew McDonald. I'll shift you with that piece of shit for the next, 20 years.
Promote me.
Yeah.
No.
God.
Oh, speaking of, if we're going to talk about trade and
Are we talking
former
about trading
GMs?
McDonald? I'm all for this.
I don't know if you guys heard this, but the New York Islanders have parted ways with their GM and their head coach.
They always do.
Doug Waite is no longer their head coach, and Garth Snow is finally not the GM of the New York Islanders anymore.
Always rebuilding. New York
So,
Islanders.
That means Johnny T's, you think?
Oh, he already is leaving.
I have some stuff on that.
We'll
so we'll talk about that on the second
We'll talk
half.
about
Yeah.
Johnny Tavares on the other side. But as for other rumors that could be going around for the Flyers and trade-wise, honestly, right now, the way I see it, the Flyers really do need to they need to continue having secondary scoring, which they had this year because we lost that somewhere down the line the year prior, and that's what killed us at the end of the day. We have secondary scoring. Can we continue to have secondary scoring?
Yeah.
That's going to be the main look right there for offense. For defense, if we can get a spot open, get one of these young bucks up, and get this shit going, that's going to be my main focus. Goaltending is what it is. Carter Hart's not here yet. He will be soon. We'll have to be patient. We have to deal with Brian Elliott for the time being, and we'll have to deal with whomever the fuck's his backup. Personally, I think Lyon deserves to be his backup. I think
Agreed.
he proved that he's good enough. He's young, so I'll take that. And he's been in the Flyer system for a while. He's not a mover or shaker, but he's a good enough backup. He could stay backup
Yeah.
for a little while. I'm fine with that.
Earned a little
I'm
spot
good with
there.
that. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. He played well enough for the Flyers
Yeah.
that I think he's earned it.
Yeah, I think Lyon should be backup for Brian Elliott this year. I have no problem with that. There's no shame in that.
To touch on your defense statement, you need to bring up guys that are not going to cough up the puck. You need guys that are
Yeah.
going to force bad passes, guys that are going to force bad shots, guys that they're just going to pick up rebounds and block shots and play defense, be stay-at-home defenders.
Yeah.
Maybe not have defensemen where 2 guys are going to break off and chase the same guy, leaving 2 or 3 guys open right in front of the net.
Sounded like the Penguins' defense in the playoffs.
It was
Sounded
so
like the
dumb.
Anaheim Ducks defense in the freaking playoffs.
Here's the sad part of that, though, is that
Jesus.
here's the sad part. The Flyers don't have a defensive leader to kind of
No.
say that. And that's the issue that I have with the Flyers defense overall. You guys have Crystal Tang.
Go get Eric Carlson. That's what I'm talking about.
I'll take him.
No.
No, you don't need no defense.
Actually,
Yes, we do.
Actually,
Are
you
kidding?
won 2 cups. You can
Hold on,
die.
time out,
Go
time out,
over
time
and
out, real
die.
quick.
Let your team suck for 5 years.
You know how you were
Okay,
saying
we'll get more draft picks.
you know how you were hold on.
Another Crosby.
You know how you were saying last week
That
that
would
Kevin
be your
Letang
luck.
may be on the trade block?
Chris, yeah.
Chris Letang, sorry. I always call him Kevin. I don't know why. But anyway, Erik Karlsson, package him up, maybe send him to Ottawa.
I mean,
Just a thought. But I would rather see him in Anaheim. But that's not going to happen. We got plenty of decent defensemen.
see, like, but
We
they
do,
just,
though.
they just play so much alike. Though. I mean, obviously, I think
Carlson's way better.
definitely. But it's like a whole
See-
nother. They're the same thing. It's like I would rather package somebody else and have those two on the same team.
See, the main thing that
You know?
I would want,
That's the thing.
and for the Flyers, it's simple. We need someone who's going to be a proper defensive leader for the young guys.
Karlsson.
That's fine. But the question is, what do we give
Are
up
we
to get
talking
him?
Eric or John? Because they're both free. They're
Not
gonna
John
be,
Carlson.
True.
They
Either
both,
or.
No.
I would
don't-
take John Carlson.
John Carlson's a really good leader.
But the thing is, you're going to pay $6 to $7 million for him this
That's
offseason.
the exact reason why it's not happening.
That's the only problem. Like he's
Our
obviously
cap
not
space
realistic
is
for Pittsburgh.
terrible.
Obviously not realistic for Pittsburgh this year.
Nor
Yeah,
Philly.
he's going to get a payday, but he's
gonna
worth
get
every
paid.
bit of that money
You know,
because he
he'll
is a
go-
shutdown
he'll
defenseman.
I
go
have
somewhere like
nothing
Toronto.
wrong with
Everybody-
that, but my problem is he's going to want a payday. The Flyers don't have the cap space. We would have to trade off Wayne Simmonds to go get him, and we'd have
Which
to.
is what this whole episode's
which
talking
is fine.
about. So
if we
draft
trade
him
off
away,
Wayne Simmonds to
give
go
him
get
away
him,
for 2 picks.
but we got to hope that that does it. If it isn't enough to get him, then we've just traded away Wayne Simmonds for nothing, and we don't have anything we got in return for him. We don't have the guy we need.
You're also not sure if you're even getting the same guy that Wayne Simmonds was 2 years ago because of his injuries, because of his
Yeah,
surgery.
That is true.
Is he still going to be the same 30-goal scorer? We don't know that. He doesn't know that. Well, I mean, we're going to find out.
I mean-
Kuznetsov ain't going to happen, Dean. Sorry,
yeah,
buddy.
that ain't happening.
No,
Not at all,
Kuznetsov
sorry.
will
He's
not
staying
happen
there.
in a
We can
million
find a
years.
player like him.
No.
But
I
I don't
would-
think that they're going to get a guy.
Dude,
they're
if
not
they
gonna
got Kuznetsov, that would be fucking the tits. But no, that's not happening. That is not happening.
maybe he's foreshadowing because he does that arm flap thing where he
I-
flies around the ice.
I can't stand that. I hope somebody breaks his fucking leg so he can't do it no
So
more.
Kuznetsov goes to the Ducks, is what you're saying.
Yes.
He could go to a bird.
I'll take
I'll
him.
take him, but I can't fucking stand that. It kills me. I want to fucking
You
deck
actually
him.
look like that guy on that bank commercial with the mascot,
Oh,
and he
God.
left the wallet in his other pants.
Oh, yeah. I know what the commercial you're talking about.
That was fucking hilarious. Literally just doing this the whole time.
I mean, everybody wants Kuznetsov. You'd be stupid to not want him.
No, yeah, not that I don't want
Yeah,
him.
but
I
it-
just,
that's
I'm
so-
being
it's
realistic with the
unrealistic, and
Flyers' cap space, which is none. We
Yeah.
have
Wishful
Yeah.
thinking,
no
yeah,
fucking
we're all
cap
with you there,
space.
Yeah,
Dean.
that's
We're
for
with
damn
you
sure.
with the wishful
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah. Oh God, that would be wonderful.
See, and there's so much going around.
Throw
in
TJ Oshie on
Pittsburgh,
top of that
too.
while you're at it.
I mean, yeah. Now you're. That's a lot of wishful
That's
thinking.
Is he-
no,
is he
no,
a-
that's
is he-
that's no cap space. GM, we're talking here.
Now
But
that, now
anyway.
that he's playing in Washington and he won a Stanley Cup, is he a true American hero now?
no,
Because he wasn't when he scored that shootout goal in the
No.
prelims in the Olympics.
no, even Oshie said it himself. He's not an American hero. He doesn't wear camo.
Yeah, he did say that. I
Yeah,
remember
so
him
if he's
that.
saying he's not one, then you know what? He isn't. Now, if he showed up to the Stanley Cup ceremony with camo on and said, now I'm an American hero, then he's a piece of shit. But anyway.
Well, actually, you know what? Jumping back to the Erik Karlsson thing, I think that's going to work out perfectly for the Flyers if they can acquire him.
If they can, that's my biggest concern, is that maybe we can't.
I think the Flyers can. You trade away. You have 2 first-round picks this year, so you throw one of them in, throw in a first-round pick next year, throw in Wayne Simmonds just to clear up some cap space and maybe get maybe a Wade Allison a shot at the roster,
Yeah.
or Vecchione another shot at the NHL level, and maybe try and see if you could throw in like an Andy McDonald or another like
Just to
2
get rid of
firsts,
it.
a second,
Get
and
rid of
Wayne
that,
Simmonds and Andrew McDonald just to get rid of that cap. Because by the time that Erik Karlsson's contract is up, it's going to be up the same time as Andrew McDonald's. So you're going to have a little bit more wiggle room to give
Yeah.
Erik Karlsson
Another contract. to
the
get him
extension
to
that you
stay.
need,
Yep.
that you'd want to give him.
Yep.
Which is probably going to be like 8 years, $80 million a year. Or not a year, $80 million.
That's impressive.
That's a hell of a defenseman.
man.
I mean, honestly, if we got Carlson, that would be great for leadership reasons. And I have no
Especially
problem
on
with
the
that.
defense.
We need a defensive
Yeah.
leader. Andrew McDonald is never going to be that guy we need him to be. He's a piece of shit. Let's not. I love it when the announcers like to say, "Oh, I don't know why he earns the ire of the Philadelphia fans." 'Cause he sucks. He fucking blows. McDonald's one of the worst defensemen we've ever seen. The only person who was worse was Luke Shen, and he's fucking gone.
I could think of one that was worse.
What?
Luke Shen was
Racco Gudis?
horrible in Philly.
Oh, crap. What the hell is his name? I just lost it.
Oh, no.
Ryan Perrant. Ryan Perrant was even worse than Andrew McDonald.
He was barely even on the team half the time, but he was fucking awful. He was awful. God.
Dean goes on to say Wayne Simmonds is a shell of what he used to be. Hopefully he's not for the Flyers' sake because they do need him to put up another 30 goals. But I'm curious to what you're saying here, Dean. You say, I'm not a GM and I would take him.
Who?
Take who? Eric Carlson or Wayne Simmonds? Because you can make an argument for either or.
I mean, again.
Obviously,
Obviously, Eric Carlson.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you can make an argument for one Wayne Simmonds.
I mean, seriously, though, if we can trade him off to a team and get the cap space we need, if we can go get Eric Carlson, I'm down with that. I just don't know if it will happen because of the fact that it's like, again.
They're gonna want a lot, obviously.
Yeah, because that's the thing.
I'm just ready for it because we're 2.5 weeks away from free agency.
We are.
Yes, we are.
We are 2.5 weeks away from
Well,
free
Carlson
agency.
Eric Carlson
No,
isn't a
he's
free
still,
agent.
yeah, he's still in a contract, but I mean, there's going to be a lot of guys that are traded away.
Oh, I
this
see. I
offseason.
see what he's saying. He's saying that he would not take Simmonds. I mean, I personally I've been saying this for a couple of years. I don't think he's as good as people think he is.
Well, that's
He can listen. He's one of the best skaters on the Flyers. I'll give him that. He doesn't have much of a slap shot. He has a mediocre wrist shot. Can't play defense to save his life. He's a penalty liability. The only reason why he scored 30 goals is because he sits in front of the net and he picks up the rebound.
Yeah.
well,
That's
And there's
Hornquist,
nothing
too.
wrong with that. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
He's a power forward. That's what
Yeah.
he should do.
Yeah.
But that's him. He's one-dimensional. That's my only problem. Why I don't think that Wayne Simmonds is more than mediocre.
Well, that's the thing about Wayne Simmonds is that I think the whole thing with trading him away too is just like, okay, so what are we trading him for? Are we trading him for cap space room reasons, or are we just going to trade him off and see what we can get for him? That's where we really need to think. Like, okay, so what mindset are we looking at with Wayne Simmonds? Are we looking towards doing a move where we get rid of a Wayne Simmonds to clear up space to go find someone like an Eric Carlson who can be a leader on the defense, better than a piece of shit Andrew McDonald any day of the week, and twice on Sunday, or are we going to go trade him for rental pieces until we can get a young guy put into a forward spot on the second line? That's really the question is what mindset we're looking at here.
Well, clearly I'm not Ron Hextall, so I don't know what he's thinking.
Yeah.
But if I'm trading Wayne Simmonds or even thinking about trading Wayne Simmonds, I'm trading him for a mid-draft pick. That way you get another pick in the second, third, or fourth rounds, preferably third or fourth. And then you just try and bring in a spot player, a player who's going to sit here for a season, take up a roster spot so somebody else is ready, like a Wade Allison or Mike Vecchione, who I think Vecchione should be given a shot this year.
Oh,
at
absolutely.
the roster.
After everything he did for the Phantoms.
Just kind of like take up space. That's
Yeah.
all. Like a bottom six player. And that obviously a cheaper guy, but you're going to free up some cap
Oh,
space.
absolutely.
You try and do both.
Okay. All right. So that's pretty much. So I mean, hey, Hexy, it's possible he wound up getting conditional picks for Kimmo Timonen in his final year of playing when he traded him to Chicago. What was it, a third-round pick? And our pick got upgraded conditionally to a second round because the condition
That's
was.
another thing, too. You can make
Yeah.
the pick conditional.
Yeah, and that's what he got for him.
Try to, anyway.
I mean, he traded Braden Coburn away to Tampa, and unfortunately we got Racco Gudis in that deal. But at the same time, too, we also got a pick out of that.
Talk about a liability.
We still got a pick, though, out of it, so it wasn't a complete loss. And plus, we were trading Braden Coburn away, who was well past his decent years of playing as a defensive man. So the fact that we even got anything for him is shocking. The same thing with Kimmo Timonen.
See, we're back to that old game.
Yeah.
trading Giroux after he just put up 105 points and
No, but please,
He's not good.
Do not bring
he's
that
apparently
up.
not putting up only 103 points.
He didn't have a great.
Sorry, Dean.
He has.
I can't back you on that
Talk
one.
about mediocre.
He has one bad playoff. One bad fucking playoff, and that's it.
Well, it's not even that. It's a lot of people think he's mediocre at best, and he's not a captain
No.
and all this other stuff.
Here's
the thing. He's in the top 5. He's in the top 5 in points of like
League.
players of
since he's been drafted.
since he's been
Yeah,
drafted.
I think he's number 2, 3,
Something like that. I think he's right behind Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
drafted, I believe, in 07 when the Flyers blew ass.
Yeah, 2 years after Ovi and
Yeah.
Crosby, but you can point the finger to anybody, Dean. Like it's not just Giroux.
Don't
I mean,
point
they
it at
were
Giroux.
shut out twice,
No,
so
you
obviously-
They
wanna,
were shut out twice, but
Yeah.
Giroux's not the only guy shooting the
No,
fucking
well,
puck.
that's exactly what I was going to say. He's not the only one on the ice.
Yeah, don't point it
You know,
at
it's
Giroux.
not 5-on-1 all day.
Okay,
It's
we want
everybody.
to talk about bad people not showing up. Let's talk about Jake Voracek. What the fuck did he do during the playoffs? Did fucking nothing. Where the fuck are we calling for his goddamn job? What about Wayne Simmonds getting thrown in the box? Seriously, how about also players not stepping up to the plate that need to step up to the plate? And our goaltending fucking blows on top of it. And our defense is nowhere near where it needs to be right now because it's still a work in progress. We have a piece of shit like McDonald leading the way. No wonder our fucking defense can't do anything. On top of that, too, Gudis sucks. We all know he fucking does. He
Yeah.
gets thrown in the box every goddamn time.
I'm going to message Andrew McDonald see if we could get him on the show.
Please.
Yes, please.
Please so. Seriously. God, like,
They're like, listen, we're
It's-
huge fans, man. We'd be like, you fucking suck.
dude, you
You're
fucking
terrible. You need
I'm
to
gonna
be
be honest
gone.
with you, dude. I don't know how you
Okay.
managed to pull this off,
Oh,
but
no.
like seriously, let's call it what it is. The team blew ass when they went into that playoff series, and on top of that, they had to face the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions with Matt Murray in goal. And Matt Murray, to be fair, did everything in his power to help that team win that series. He played very well in that
Yeah.
series. I don't know what more you want from that. It's the team didn't do well coming out of the gate, and when you stumble against Pittsburgh as a whole, you're going to fucking lose. On top of that, too, you are facing Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and I could go down the list of players.
Phil Kessel.
Although
I
Phil
mean, I get
Kessel
his
was kind
point.
of MIA during that
I
series.
he was
absolutely
very
get
MIA.
Dean's point. Like, you want to trade, you want to get a young guy. You know, you trade him because he's got more value. I get it.
That's
I understand
that,
it.
but
here's the thing. Okay, you may be able to have Couturier replace him on the first line at center or wing or wherever you want to put him. But who do you name captain after that? There's nobody on that team that's earned that C yet.
no, because I mean, obviously, if I'm looking at
No
any of
way.
the young guys, a guy who could be a captain
mean,
in the
Patrick,
future,
maybe.
Patrick maybe, Konechny possibly,
Gossespierre.
Gostisbehere, but
Gostisbehere,
right
yeah.
now they're not there yet. They're still very young.
Listen, G's going to be there for a while.
Yeah, like he should be there.
And fans need
Honestly,
to realize that. I mean,
let's-
obviously, Philly culture is if you have a bad season, you run them out of town.
Pretty much.
That's a Philly.
so-
That's the Philly thing. Like that
Yeah.
it shouldn't be that way because
no.
Giroux, he might not always put points up on the board, and hockey is clearly a sport that your importance is more than just scoring goals,
Yeah.
passing the puck. He's a tremendous leader in the locker room. He's a guy that these young guys can learn from. 'Cause he learned from some of the best when he was
Exactly.
starting.
Yeah, I mean Drew, he was learning from guys like Simon Gagne, Danny Briere, hopefully not from Jeff Carter and Mike Richards. I don't think they could teach you too much.
To Jeff Carter, Kenny, he's won 2 Stanley Cups since then.
Well, yeah, but let's be honest, he did it with his
And
butt
what did he
buddy.
do with that cup?
Oh,
Yeah.
that was Mike Richards.
Yeah.
Oh, that was they're party buddies.
They both were. Come on. Jeff Carter was doing it too. Well, let's be honest. Come on. Roommates as Phantoms. They were butt buddies in Philly, butt buddies in Los Angeles. Come on now. They couldn't go anywhere. They were inseparable, those two.
All right, so Dean goes to say it's not a Philly thing. I've been calling for 4 years, and they should have done it 3 years ago. It is a Philly thing because it doesn't matter what sport it is. If your top player doesn't play to the elite level that the
He's
fans want him
gone.
to, they want him out. They think he sucks. They think
Yeah.
he's terrible. it's more than just goals. It's more than just assists. It's the presence that he brings. It's why he's a captain.
Again, like, who would we go and bring in as captain now? Because
nobody.
the thing,
Can't. There's
You
nobody.
Literally nobody.
Who the fuck are you going to put the C on? You can't put it on Simmonds, that's for damn sure, and you can't put it on Voracek.
You're right. No, hold on. Time out. No, Drew or Dean, you are absolutely right. Drew can't win it by himself.
No, that's
And
true.
that's the point I'm trying to make.
Nobody
It's-
can win by themselves.
You got to build around him. Obviously, he's
Yeah.
there. He's still young. He's not even 30 yet.
Okay,
you know?
but when Crosby first got drafted to the Penguins, did the
The team
Penguins
was
make the
fucking
playoffs? They
putrid.
still fucking sucked.
It was like, what,
They are
2,
still
3 years
awful.
after. Obviously, we
Yeah.
had Malkin and Crosby come up at the
Like-
same time. We had Fleury finally there. Then
and
we
you
get
also had
Letang.
Jordan Stahl on top
Jordan
of that
Stahl was
eventually.
06, 07. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
Sometimes
It's
It's a
you
work
gotta
in
you gotta hold on to
progress.
you gotta hold on to
Exactly.
Drew
It
until that
is a-
team.
yeah.
It's a work in
We
progress.
were fortunate to have 5 first-round picks in a row. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
When the Flyers are to the point where they can afford to trade a guy like Claude Giroux,
They will.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
But right now they can't afford to lose him.
He's the
Last year, him and Voracek are the only source of offense. I mean, yeah, Konechny had 20-some-odd goals, but after that, who else was there?
yeah.
You can make an argument for Couturier, but if you're looking at guys who are scoring
I just don't.
80,
I don't see him being a captain though. That's the thing.
Couturier is not a captain.
Couturier
No,
is a
Couturier's
captain.
not
at
going to
all.
No.
be captain.
but Couturier's assist numbers went down. His goal numbers went up, but his assist numbers went down. You got to have at least 2 or 3 guys always on that team that can score 70, 80, 90, maybe even 100 points.
Because the problem of it is that, like, the captaincy, like, you want to put it on a vet. You don't want to put it on a rookie. You don't want to put it on a guy like Patrick, who's obviously not ready for it. He's only been in the league for 1 year. It had a solid year, but it's his rookie year. On top of that, too, you can't put it on Gostisbehere because he's not even the leader of the defense. Like, until he's the leader of the defense, he shouldn't be getting nothing as a captaincy right now, which he will be the leader of the defense at some point. It just depends on whenever the fuck they decide to get rid of these piece of shit veterans that we don't want no more. You know, it is a work in progress. Yes, it blows. I know it sucks that we are not there yet. I hate it just as much as anybody else. But you know what? You can't get rid of people immediately like that. You do it, you're going to set the team back. And trading Giroux will set the team back. We don't have somebody to be captain. We really don't. We're going to give it to Filppula? He's not even coming back to the team.
Not 100% sure on that yet, but it's a possibility that he does not come back.
I mean, that's fine. He was a rental player anyway. And he did fine for a rental player. But point is that we don't have anybody to take up the captaincy. Let's not trade him away. Keep him on the team. The man had 100 points this year. 100 points, and we're going to trade him? Like, yeah, value, but at the same time, what are we getting in return? And what do we do after Giroux? That's great. We pulled the trigger. What do we do now? Oh, well, why don't we put it on someone? He ain't ready. Why put it on Jake? Jake's not a captain. Like, Wayne. The guy gets penalties every 5 seconds. You fucking want him to be captain? All he's going to teach you is how to fucking get thrown in the box. Like, seriously. So, that being said.
I'm sure it's going to be a discussion we're going to have multiple times this offseason.
There's absolutely
that
no
and the
doubt.
fucking fire hack ones, I can already see it fucking coming. But anyway, because that's another one that everybody likes to, oh, it's all the coach's fault. It's like, yes, it's Hack's fault that
Well,
we
they're
didn't beat the 2-time defending Stanley Cup fucking champions. Like, seriously.
Dean, we're jumping over to YouTube, brother. Come join us over there, man.
Anyway, yes, please feel free to join us on YouTube. Continue to have these heated conversations and debates. And anyone on YouTube, feel free to continue joining us and throw in the comments. And I will leave this for Brian to simmer on at the break. Rob Eamon chiming in. He says Ducks might find a taker for Kessel. I don't know if they mean
For
Kessel,
Kessel or
Kessler.
Kessler.
But either way, though, I'll let you simmer on that one as we go to break. But anyway, on the other side, we'll talk about Johnny Tavares, what teams he could most likely end up on, and also other free agency talk. That is all on the other side. But first, Hockey Happy Hour is brought to you by Sports Outlet. For all your sporting needs, located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030. Email our sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on ATDRadio.com. We will see you right after this.
Bang.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW Atlantic Studios here in Mountie from New Jersey. I'm at the studio. That is Michael, the Penguin-loving Clankoff, and Brian, the Darkwing Daily, behind the board. And we are brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountants, located 301 Oxford Valley Road in Yardley, PA. You can give them a call at 215-369-3300. Tax season, just gotta love tax season, right? Right when it rolls around, you gotta get all your receipts out, you gotta get your W-2s, you gotta get all that happy-go-lucky horse shit. Wouldn't it be better if just all that was managed by someone who actually knows what they're doing? Because let's be honest, no matter how hard you try, no matter how well you try to calculate it, you're not an accountant, and you probably fucked up and left some money on the table. Well, you can call Gibson Mayer LLC, and they'll take care of that. So be ready, be prepared, and call Gibson Mayer.
Bingo.
All right. So, with that all being said, we were talking before the break about the Flyers trade rumors and all that has been circulating around the board about it. Then other Flyers trade rumors of what other possibilities the Flyers may look towards. Hopefully getting a veteran defenseman with leadership qualities. And also, hopefully, if you are going to trade Wayne Simmonds, getting what you want in return for him. And I did leave after the end of the break, before we went to break, was a question left by Rob Eamon on the YouTube. And that is, the Ducks might find a taker for, I'm going to assume Kessler, not Kessel. So.
I was just going through some free agency stuff. Ilya Kovalchuk, by the way, visiting the Ducks as a second wave of teams that he's looking at.
Huh.
Ducks, Los Angeles, San Jose.
He's weighing his options. He's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, he really is weighing his
Other
options.
teams in Detroit, St. Louis, and Dallas as well.
I know he was in Boston yesterday.
Yeah, so I just read
I think
it
he
'cause
checked out with the Rangers, and I think he checked out with the Devils too.
It says
so.
that the Penguins are absent from talking to Ilya, which is totally fine. I mean, he's a great goal scorer, don't get me wrong, but if he wants another $100 million 16-year contract, he's not getting it from us.
As far as the assumption that it's Ryan Kessler,
I'm assuming.
or maybe the trade for Phil Kessel.
See, like, obviously Kessel had a very bad playoff. Absolutely no doubt. I don't want to run this guy out, but the only problem I have with Kessel is that he's shown that he's not really a team player. You know, he's not a locker room kind of guy, is what I've heard from everything, which is why this is his third team already. You know?
I mean, but here's the thing, though. The same issue hit Evander Kane, and Evander Kane kind of found his game in San Jose.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not an impossibility that a cancer can't turn into something in another organization.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Evander Kane went to Winnipeg, then he was, well, originally was the Atlanta Thrashers, Winnipeg, and then Buffalo, and then he goes to San Jose, and that turns out to be the team that he's been needing to be on this whole time. So I can't really see where it's a possibility that definitely hurts his trade value, but I also think that it does kind of help the trade value a little bit of, hey, listen, if he can get a change of location, he might just be able to find his groove and find his game. If Evander Kane can do it, anybody can do it.
No, I agree,
Exactly.
but I'm looking at this Flyers article real quick, stating that, you know, my idea might not work out for the Flyers to get Erik Karlsson, because apparently they're likely to keep any prospects and their 2 first-round picks in this year's draft next Friday.
Is that when the draft is?
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
Yeah, the prospect draft.
Nice. Maybe
it
I'll
is.
stay up all night like I did last year for them to trade it away for Ryan Reeves. I was so upset. I was like, man, there's a 6'7" defenseman out there.
Let's
Maybe
go
we could
get that
and
defenseman. Let's go
him.
get that.
And we traded away a first-round pick for Ryan Reeves, who, by the way, isn't even on a team anymore. So
No,
That
he
was a
is-
waste.
he
Why
is-
would you trade a first-round pick for fucking Ryan Reeves?
I don't know. I've believed in Jim Rutherford's system the first 2 years, but then this year got me because our biggest weakness, this year was defense, and he didn't do shit for us. He got us Matt Hunwick.
Wow.
Got us Matt Hunwick. Yes. Thank you. That's exactly the guy I was looking for in free agency last year was Matt Hunwick. How many games did he play for us this year? Maybe 20? I can tell you didn't play in the fucking playoffs.
Matt Hunwick hasn't played a full fucking season in God knows.
Matt Hunwick sucks. That's a guy I don't. Your Andrew McDonald is my Matt Hunwick. Okay.
So that's the
horrible.
Guy. Here's the problem though. You have the option of not having to see him for the entire year. Unfortunately, I
Pretty
have no
much,
choice.
yeah. I mean,
but
he
to
wasn't
be
healthy
fucking
all year.
laboriously tortured because I'm a glutton for fucking punishment, dealing with goddamn Andrew McDonald and almost all 82
Awful.
games.
And another guy too. It's crazy because everybody that we got in the offseason either didn't play or was traded away before the trade deadline.
So it's like Johnny Aduya for us.
So it's basically like all the guys that we got were just a wash anyway. I mean, Derek Brassard barely played in the playoffs. Ryan Reeves was traded away. Matt Hunwick was non-existent. I think he was injured and also a healthy scratch. You know, we gave away a guy in Ian Cole. So I mean, it's just all the pieces plus what we lost in the offseason. So if you're really looking at it, we had 11 guys that were on a team that didn't play most of the time in the playoffs. Obviously, you know, the 7 or 8 that we lost in the offseason, and then the 3 or 4 that we got this year. So add that up. That's how different our team was this year going into it. That's why I was surprised when we made the playoffs this year. I know, obviously, we have Crosby, Malkin, whatever, you know, but that's why I was surprised. You lose so many pieces in the offseason, it just dismantles the whole team. And to get back Matt Hunwick. Yeah.
Which is the equivalent of just a giant turd.
It's like I'd rather have new Gatorade bottles at that point. Like, come on.
Or at least
Jesus
for you to
Christ.
stock my soda machine.
Oh.
But anyway.
So I want to jump to that guy's
Sorry,
question. I want to
I-
finally answer it.
Had to get that off my chest.
No, you're good, man. You feel better?
It's all therapeutic.
It is therapeutic. I feel better usually.
Okay, I'm good.
So
Woosah.
I have a funny feeling he's talking about trading for Kessel, but I'm going to answer both. So as far as Ryan Kessler goes, I don't think trading Ryan Kessler is an option right now due to health reasons.
Yeah, is it? Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to stay in Anaheim. Phil Kessel, maybe he's talking about the Anaheim Ducks acquiring Phil Kessel. I wouldn't hate it, but what would you have to give up to get him?
A lot. The guy finished 8th in scoring this year. So, I mean,
he'd be
93 points or something.
So do you
He'd
think
be a great
that,
right winger to add to the team.
Yeah.
But we also got to think cap space too. What's his contract look like? Where's our cap space? How much room do we have?
Yeah, he's like 8 million, I think.
We already have 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that sit in 5 or more.
So
Listen, I think there's only 2 guys on Pittsburgh that are actually safe, and that's Malkin and Crosby. Maybe. I don't know what's up in Rutherford's head, but
I think he's starting to slowly go senile.
he might. I mean, considering last season.
You're offering Ryan Reeves? Here's 3 first-round picks.
Yeah. Sounds good. I mean, listen, obviously.
Write it up.
The first-round pick for Kessel was
lock.
I'm okay with. You know, we gave a lot of good prospects, you know, Kasperi Kapanen in a first-round pick and whoever else was in that trade.
That was dumb.
Well,
Sorry.
for Phil Kessel, I mean, he won 2 Stanley Cups, so
I mean,
I'm taking it right now.
I'm good.
I'm
I mean,
absolutely taking it.
I'm not saying that trading Phil Kessel was dumb. I'm saying that giving up
Well,
on
giving up-
Kasperi Kapanen was dumb.
He was a great prospect coming up for us, and I couldn't wait for him.
I
But,
was so upset when he got drafted by Nashville
uh,
or Pittsburgh. Sorry,
yeah,
Sorry.
Kapanen's good.
I'm gonna mute myself
He's
for
been
a
playing
little bit.
great for he's been playing great for Toronto right now, so but yeah, obviously sad. But like I said, the Penguins have won 2 Stanley Cups out of the 3 years that he's been here. So I'm taking it. And obviously it's going to hurt the future a little bit,
I mean,
but you don't know.
here's the thing, though. The Penguins, the one thing that I think killed them was, and this is the only issue that I can foretell being an issue for them. Not that you have Crosby and Malkin, so you have talent.
Mhm.
You're going to have to constantly put somebody around them. You don't have the draft picks. You
Well-
haven't traded for draft picks, period. You've really just gotten players. Think about it. You've gotten Iginla, Kessel, Kunitz.
It's all a part of winning now.
Yeah.
That's a winning now
But-
philosophy.
Now, when you have a guy like Crosby and Malkin, you can have that kind of mind state because
Yeah.
you've got the talent to. You don't have to
Well,
worry
I was
about
gonna
that.
say, I mean, I don't want to ever compare Crosby to a guy like Tom Brady in the NFL, but think about it. Tom Brady's quarterback or wide receiver at one point was Malcolm Mitchell. I bet you guys don't even know who the hell he is.
I
And it's
definitely
like-
don't.
It's a guy like think about where would Connor Sherry be on another team?
Where would Brian Rust be?
Brian
That's an
Rust
even better.
be in
Third
another
line.
team. Exactly. Okay, he's playing on the first line with Crosby, and he scored 20-some goals this year. So it just tells you what he does to other players. A guy like Gensel. Gensel came right up, scored goals in his first game with Malkin. So, I mean, it just – they don't really need the
Oh,
pieces around those two guys,
By the way, the league should get a fucking dummy smack for fucking giving the Conn Smythe to Alex Ovechkin. He did not
It was
deserve
Kuznetsov, without a doubt.
Did
It
not
should have
deserve
been
that Conn
Kuznetsov.
Smythe. Absolutely not.
Well, and you knew as we were sitting here watching it, we knew they were going to give it to him.
Yeah,
That's why, like I said last season, Crosby didn't deserve it. Gensel did.
he did.
So
It's just, I don't understand. Like, does the Conn Smythe mean it's just a popularity
it's-
contest now?
everything's a popularity contest. What do you? It's the same thing for the NBA. The MVP, the Rookie of the Year. It doesn't matter who does the best. It's who's the most popular out of these three guys. Okay, and it's just.
It makes no
It's
sense.
ridiculous.
Because if they had judged it based on the Conn Smythe, then Marty Brodeur would have won the Conn Smythe in 2003.
Well, it's
like, honestly.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's I don't know.
But anyway. So, now that we got all that out of the way, we could talk about John Tavares. And the reason why we're talking about John Tavares, you may ask, is because he is the major player that is currently pretty much saying he
The
is
number
not
one.
coming back to the
Yep.
fucking New York Islanders, and I don't fucking blame him. With that being said, the real question is, what team do you think he might find himself on come the end of this?
It's
Off
funny.
season.
It's funny that you said it like that.
Why?
Because apparently, since Gar Snow's been fired, Jonathan Tavares has been having daily negotiations with the New York Islanders about coming back.
Oh, really?
Lamoriello?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't think he's staying. There's no way. I mean, yeah, the team had a little spark to him, but they're just you still got to build so much
That's-
around him. I think he just needs to go
No.
to a team that's ready.
Honestly, that would be
needs to win.
dumb.
I
Like,
don't disagree.
I don't think Tavares should go back. It's a waste of time for him. Just like, dude, like, do you really want to waste your time with the
Yeah.
Islanders? The Islanders are going to fiddle fuck around again,
Mhm.
and they're not going to have a fucking direction. They never fucking do.
Well, they have they're gonna have a new GM this year,
They are, but
so
that's
gonna help.
that
It
is
should, yeah.
It should, but the thing is, it's just like, what's this GM's idea? Is he going to just say fuck it all and rebuild completely? Like, when I mean fuck it all and rebuild completely, I mean really rebuild again for like the 3 billionth time the Islanders have done it. Or is he going to try and figure in pieces around the young talent that they do have? Because they still have young talent. It's not like they have nobody out there on the island. They just can't make it fucking work for whatever reason.
And I think a lot of that you put the blame on Gar Snow, and now he's out. So possibly if, let's say, because the only real GM that I know of that's on the market right now is Lou Lamoriello. If you go out and get a guy like Lou Lamoriello, he's a guy who knows how to build a fucking hockey team. He's if I'm Jonathan Tavares and Lou Lamoriello gets hired,
Yeah.
all right, let's start talking. What do you got? What's your ideas? I mean, I don't blame him for talking. Talking isn't necessarily going to lead to anything. But he's been having daily conversations with the New York Islanders. So I could see him going back to the island. If not, he's going to Winnipeg or Toronto.
Well, just like Maddie said, it's just a complete waste of time for him to be there. I mean,
He's got so much talent. It's just like, you might as well just
But
go to a
here's
team
the
that's
But
a
he's also a
contender.
ticket seller, too.
Yeah, he's a ticket
People
seller,
go to the games to
but-
see him.
but think about it. In his position, look at the teams in the Metro that he has to get through in order to even make the playoffs at this point.
That is true.
You have 5 teams from the Metro just this year alone that made the playoffs, okay? And I don't think any of those teams are moving from that spot. Even Carolina. Carolina was right on the brink of it.
Florida
Islanders
too.
were kind of too. The Islanders weren't out of it.
No, they
Yeah,
weren't. They were
but
close. They almost made it, but it's still the fact that they just. I don't know. I think Tavares needs to go somewhere else. That to me. I don't think he'll go to anybody in the Metro, but I still think he'll stay in the East. I think like you're saying, Toronto, the area where he's from, I think would be a great fit for him.
One of 3 places he's winding up. He's either staying in New York, or he's going to Winnipeg because he's got family in Winnipeg, and that's where he wanted to go when he demanded the trade.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, last year or 2 years ago? I can thank James Wilder for that one because he's the one that put that one in my head. Or he's going to go to Toronto because he's from Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, let's take a look here. So we go through this. Well, he won't go to Washington. Washington doesn't have cap space unless they decide to really
Well, if they
overhaul that
dismantle,
team. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely just crush this team into dust. Pittsburgh won't take him because you guys don't have the cap space.
No, obviously I'd love a guy
Well,
like
we
that.
can rule
but
out
he
the
would be
Metro
a third
Division,
line.
period.
Yeah, I mean, the Philly can't get him. The Flyers don't have the cap space. I would love to have Tavares. Columbus won't get. Well, hold on.
They probably have room for him.
Not entirely. Columbus may actually be able to swing that if they're smart.
Yeah, but I don't think it's realistic though.
Not
He'd be stuck in
necessar-
the same situation in Columbus that he was in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the New Jersey Devils. I'd have to check their cap before I could say.
I'm sure they
anything.
have it. I'm sure they're another team that has it.
Yeah, but the real question is, does he want to go to Jersey?
He's
I-
basically there anyway.
Yeah.
He already
just has to
is.
go down the street.
Yeah. I mean,
Hour down the street.
Oh,
Not
God.
even.
I hope he does not go to the New Jersey Devils because that would be fucking awful.
That would be-
He's not. Anybody in the Metro probably isn't an option.
That's what I'm saying. I think he could stay in the East, and I think he will. But like I said, I don't think it's going to be a team from the Metro.
Do you think that he would go to like a team like Tampa?
No,
No,
I don't
Tampa's
think
got-
there's
Tampa's-
no way to have room. There's absolutely no way to.
You're not going to put. You're not going to be able to
All right.
have Stamkos and Tavares play together.
What about Boston?
Boston maybe, but they're tight
Yeah,
on
but
cap too.
Bergeron and him, and then Marchand.
Chara.
Yeah,
Who's not retiring.
Well, that's
yeah,
the
but
thing.
Chara's contract's not outrageous.
No, but
Like those
they still
guys,
have.
but-
They're still tight on the cap space too.
Exactly, and you got to pay Tuca. I mean, I would still keep paying for Tuca.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to keep paying for
But,
Tuca
yeah.
now. And so Toronto, obviously one of the candidates that we're throwing up there in the running. Florida, no.
No.
I don't think anyone wants to go
He
to
might.
Florida. Really? Think possibly?
Well, they have
Possibly.
the space for it, but
They
he's got to remember
do.
he's the one signing the paper, and I don't think that's a paper I'm signing.
But Florida was still supposed to be a team that was at the bottom of the conference.
and
last
they-
year, and they
they
weren't.
gave-
and they
you know,
gave the Flyers
All
a
it
run
took
for
was
their
the
money
Flyers,
there.
you know,
Not
that
even just
one
the Flyers.
win.
They gave a lot of people a run for their money. They fought
did.
for a playoff spot. They lost.
They
lost
they fought
that,
for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
they lost a game that they should have won and then beat Boston in the final game of the year.
Which it didn't
Which,
matter
yeah,
then.
at that point.
Because
it didn't
Columbus
matter.
and New Jersey lost, so the Flyers were guaranteed a spot, and New Jersey wasn't going to get
Yeah.
outbeat. So, Carolina, that is not a bad idea for John Tavares because they have a team that they're building towards. I could see that.
Mhm.
I mean, that's not a bad option for him, Carolina. Young team. Yeah, Jordan Stahl's there, but at the same time, too, it's just like Jordan Stahl's just one guy.
Could you imagine Jonathan Tavares and Jeff Skinner playing together?
That
That's
would be
kind of. That's
that'd
kind
be
of.
nice.
Yeah.
That-
That'd be great for Jeff Skinner, who I believe is a free agent after this year.
if
RFA.
if they don't find an answer in Carolina soon, I wouldn't be surprised if he just takes his ball and goes somewhere else. Honestly,
Probably.
I could see Jeff Skinner
More than
leaving.
likely.
Yeah, I could see Jeff Skinner leaving if Carolina can't get their shit together. The New York Islanders, obviously, no. I really don't think he's coming back. I really
It's still a
not
choice.
sold
It's
on
it's
that.
like thinking about like LeBron right now. LeBron's like the hottest free agent.
Yeah.
Is he going to stay in Cleveland?
Yeah,
or is he
pretty
going to go
much.
somewhere else? You
Yeah.
know?
And
I'd rather.
obviously
I'd rather be worrying about Jonathan Tavares.
Well, yeah, obviously, but Johnny T right now is like the LeBron for the NHL.
he's
the
the
that
LeBron
top
for the Islanders. That's
that
for
top
sure.
free agent. Is he going to leave the team that's right on the brink, or is he going to leave for a team that's already set up, ready to go, and could win?
Well,
a
hey, he
championship?
could very well sign a 1 or 2 year deal with the Islanders just to see what happens with the new GM.
like an arbitration kind of deal where it's like 1
where
year,
he just
like
decides to
7,
say
8 million
fuck it and then just leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he is not going to the New York Rangers. No,
No.
he is not going.
They
to the
are
New York
rebuilding.
Rangers. They are.
That'd
but
be
he,
a nice piece to bring in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Rangers are also talking about trading guys like Matt Zuccarello.
Yeah. So they're.
I'll take him. You come to Pittsburgh. I love Matt Zuccarello.
Matt
No,
Zuccarello, he's
fuck
good.
that.
Oh
We'll
my
trade
God.
Wayne. We will give you Wayne Simmonds. I'll take Matt Zuccarello.
I'll take
Fuck
Simmonds.
that.
You know where he'll fit perfectly?
Where?
Anaheim.
Fine. He can
That
go to
coaching
Anaheim.
system.
I have no
that
problem with
coaching
Anaheim.
system.
I have no problem if he goes to Anaheim. It does make sense. It makes
He's a
perfect
flyer.
sense.
He's a passer. He's a
Hey,
scorer.
Hagelin didn't work too well there, but
Yeah, but Hagelin was never as good as
No.
Matt Zuccarello
No.
is.
I hated Hagelin when he was a Ranger, man. He was so
I
freaking
hate it.
fast. Nobody could catch up to him.
I hated Hags and I hated Benoit Pouliot. I hated those two. I fucking hated them. Anyway,
Where's Benoit now? He's in Edmonton, yeah?
yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Probably wishing he was. No, actually, no. You know what? I don't know what team he preferred to be on. Would he prefer to be on the Rangers that are rebuilding or the Edmonton Oilers that are still rebuilding? But anyway, the Detroit Red Wings. No. Definitely a rebuilding franchise. Absolutely not.
Should be in the West.
Montreal Canadiens. I know.
No.
No.
No, like I said, there's only the two
Is
teams
it
in the
possible? Yes. But honestly, I don't know if he would go to Montreal.
I don't know if anybody would go to Montreal right now, to be honest, because, like I said, they're another team that's trying to sell.
Yeah.
And they're trying to sell all their big guns. So you go to Montreal.
East. Yeah.
Now-
If JT goes to Montreal, who's he going to play with?
Nobody.
Max Pacioretty for 3
Pacioretty.
or
weeks.
Brendan
Yeah.
Gallagher.
Galchenyuk for 4 weeks. Like,
Or Gallagher.
it's only a matter of time
That's
before
it.
those two, even Brendan Gallagher.
Yeah.
But Brendan
That's it.
Gallagher's a third line guy.
Yeah, but he has those moments where they'll throw him in.
I do like Brendan Gallagher. He does have
Yeah.
a little bit of a grit to him.
Yeah. But with that being said, though, what would you say about Ottawa? Considering the fact that Ottawa has a team, but they just
They're-
shat the bed this
Yeah,
year
I was
No,
I
Ottawa's
was
not an
honestly
option.
they were my biggest surprise this year.
as a
The fact
disappointment.
that they
yeah.
were they were last in the
No, second to last.
second to last Buffalo
Yeah.
in the Atlantic.
And no, Buffalo's not
But-
an option.
Yeah, Buffalo's not.
Dave, I'm sorry, man. JT's not coming to Anaheim.
Nah,
He would be-
It's wishful thinking. Believe me,
although-
It is,
I'd welcome him
I would
with
love
open
it.
arms, but
Oh,
he's
yeah.
not going to any of our teams here.
The,
No, he's
the,
definitely not.
I was watching the Anaheim Ducks game, and it's funny that he said that because they were playing the Islanders, and Tavares had just scored for the Islanders. But it came up, the guy who was doing the graphics,
Yeah.
he put up the graphics of saying that Jonathan Tavares scored for the Anaheim Ducks. I was like,
It's
huh,
a
is that
sign.
premonition?
It's
Illuminati.
a premonition.
Premonition?
Yeah. It's all real.
Listen,
Wear a tinfoil hat.
31 fans of all 31 teams want this guy, and there's
Absolutely.
no reason to not.
Absolutely.
I would love to have Johnny T in
Yep.
Anaheim, but it's not going to happen. If
Like-
you,
like
listen,
I
if
said,
you're gonna go out after a guy like Jonathan Tavares who can play both wing and center, you got to trade Corey Perry. No one's gonna take the contract.
no,
The
nobody's
contract's
gonna,
not worth the production.
not from this year anyway.
Not from the last 2 years.
Yeah,
He hasn't broke 20 goals in a long time,
it's horrible.
and if he does, he barely breaks it.
Yeah, that's absolutely horrible.
It could be the system.
I'm
though.
still like, when I go through to 2004 draft, that Getzlov and Perry were drafted in the same first round
same round. Yep.
that year. It's crazy.
I mean, it could be the
Absolutely.
system. It could be Randy Carlisle that's holding back
Yeah.
Corey Perry, but I don't want to put my money on that.
I'm with you. Yeah, I just, like I said, the
It might be
three
time
fan
to move
base
on.
is sitting right here. It's unrealistic for Johnny T to go there.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't say it's unrealistic. For me, it's just very unlikely.
yeah, it's wishful thinking.
It is. It
That's
absolutely
a
is.
little too wishful.
I wish. I would love it. I would love it. I would go and get
Absolutely.
his jersey in a heartbeat.
You know, just getting off of Johnny T too. I mean, we talked about Carlson as well. Not Eric, but John. Where I don't think our teams are gonna be a landing spot for him. If anything, maybe the Flyers. I think the Flyers out of the three that were sitting right here, I think they would be a top spot. But where else do you see him going? Do you see him staying with Washington, or you think he's going to take the money and run?
What, for Carlson?
Yeah.
He's probably going to take the money and run. I mean, honestly, like he's going to grab a paycheck and go because he already won a cup. We already talked about loyalty. It does run in hockey a little bit more than other sports, but why would Carlson stay with Washington, considering the fact that Washington's probably not going to repeat?
Mm-hmm.
We know for I highly doubt that. If Washington repeats, I will eat my freaking hat. Like, seriously, there's no way in hell that they could
I
do
wanna
that.
see
I'll
it.
bring the steak sauce.
Yeah.
I like it.
Seriously, I don't even have a hat to eat. But anyway,
I'll bring in one of my old ones for you.
Sure.
Nice and sweaty and
nice
seasoned
and
for
sweaty.
you.
You're right. Good seasoning.
the
I
one-
like it.
One that's grown mold on it.
Yeah.
But-
Anyway, but Buffalo's not an option for Johnny T. But anyway, with that being said, though, I think he's going to take the money and run.
Yeah.
It'd be the best move for Carlson.
I think he resigns.
Yeah.
Really?
What else
Okay.
are they going to have? He's their
Matt
number one
Niskanen and
defenseman.
Brooks Orpik. I mean, come on.
No, but seriously, though, unless they can offer him a
Oh, yeah.
gigantic payday.
They're-
Yeah, unless they give him a gigantic payday, why would he stay? Like, fuck it. I'm
but that's
I'm
the
gonna
thing,
take
But the
it.
chance to
are.
repeat.
The
They're
chance to
still
re-
a top team in the.
I don't
in the
They
think
Eastern
are,
Conference.
but it's going to be hard as hell for them to get
he's
through
not
that.
going
It's
to take
hard-
a cut and pay when he's the number one defenseman in free agency right now. That's the thing. Are the
He's-
Capitals
It's not necessarily he's going to take a cut and pay.
Are the
Washington might be
but-
able to pay him.
But are the Capitals going to pay him $7.5–8 million a year?
They still
I
have.
don't.
They might.
I don't think so.
It depends on who they decide they're going to cut ties with, so they can make the room.
And it also depends upon who they have to go out there and grab at the end of the day. So
I think Washington is still in a very good position.
they are, but
They
I
For
are,
him
no
to
doubt, yeah.
leave, for him to leave a cup contender, a team that could repeat. I think it'd be dumb on his part. I read an article earlier today saying he wants to stay in Washington, but he's not gonna sit there and be like, oh yeah, I want Washington. I'm only want Washington and blah blah blah.
Mhm.
No, he's gonna listen to offers, but he wants to be in Washington. He wants to re-up. And I don't blame him.
We'll see. All right, so on to the West. Nashville. No. Yeah. Winnipeg, which was an option.
Winnipeg, I think, is an option.
Minnesota.
No.
Minnesota could use him big time.
They could get a little bit younger in that position.
They could also use his offensive scoring. The Las Vegas Golden Knights, well, they definitely have room to
Yeah.
do this
And picks.
and picks, so it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
Who's their AHL affiliate? Do they have one?
They don't have one yet.
They don't have
They've
one
been
yet.
sharing.
They've
I
been
think they're sharing Peoria with St. Louis.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they'll have one soon.
I wasn't sure. I just thought about that. I
Yeah,
was-
they got to make an expansion team for them. They got to have their own expansion draft,
Yeah.
oddly enough.
Hey, they could bring the ECHL back to Trenton. No, that'd be nice.
And then
they won't.
Anaheim, we've already talked about
Sucks.
this. And the San
Absolutely
Jose
sad.
Sharks. The Sharks, no, I don't see him going to San Jose. Los Angeles could use him, though, for scoring. They could, honestly.
They're not going to take that spot away from Anze Kopitar.
Nah. Yeah, you're all right, though. And then Colorado. Colorado could use a veteran. And then St. Louis, I don't know. They have Tarasenko, but other than that,
Fortunately,
though,
Tarasenko's on the wing.
Yeah.
Bringing in a guy like Jonathan Tavares could really benefit, but
St. Louis isn't a
no.
bad option. Dallas, I don't know about Dallas. Calgary could use a veteran who scores to kind of help with the young offense that they have. It's not a bad option for him, considering the fact they have a lot of talent out there. They do need a veteran, though. I really honestly think they need a veteran.
they do. But I just don't see Johnny going anywhere except for one of the three places I said. It's just something in my gut saying he's going to wind up in Winnipeg, Toronto, or he's going to go back to Long Island. And right now, I'm kind of leaning towards he's going to go back to Long Island.
Edmonton's an option, probably not. Chicago, no, unless he really likes playing second fiddle to both Patrick Kane and Rick Taves, which I don't think he's going to want to. And then Vancouver, option. I don't think he'll do it because Vancouver still has to rebuild. They're getting there, though.
They're in a complete rebuild.
Yeah, and Arizona, fuck no. Absolutely not. Who the fuck wants to go to Arizona?
Hey, Johnny, you want to go to Arizona?
Yeah.
I'm retiring.
Right?
All right. So that's our rundown of Johnny T and where he'll most likely end up. We still think it's going to be Winnipeg, Toronto,
Or staying home.
or staying in Long Island.
Yeah.
I still doubt that. I say Toronto, but that's just me.
Watch, he'll go somewhere stupid.
He'll go to the
For
freaking
$9 million a year, he'll go to Buffalo.
Oh God, that'd be
a bad guy to
hilarious.
play with Eichel.
Hey, Panthers.
No,
you
he
got
would not
the
be
cap.
Yeah, go to the damn
Oh, man.
Panthers. Next thing you know, the Panthers win the fucking Stanley Cup, and then that's official. The league is dead. Anyway, all right. So that'll do it for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We thank you all for joining us. Next week, Draft Central. We'll be talking about what's coming up on the draft, and we'll see where the Flyers are picking, the Penguins, if they're picking, and the Ducks, where they're picking as well. And we will see you all right then and there next Thursday. But until then, the Hockey Happy Hour was brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. This has been the Hockey Happy Hour here on A2DRadio.com. It is time for last call, and we will see you all next week right here on A2DRadio.com.